I'm Joey,
I'm Jason.
and this is Metal
Monster
Review. Today we're going to be discussing an album from 1985. Hey, it's about a matter of time before we got to this. We're going to discuss another band from the Big Four. We're going to be talking about Slayer's Hell Awaits. A really underrated album from Slayer. Everybody has heard at some point in time a Slayer album, in regards with metal. These guys have had a lot of hits throughout that. You've had, from them, you've had a lot of great work such as South of Heaven, Angel of Death, Raining Blood, Divine Intervention. But Hell Awaits sometimes gets overlooked. I mean, most people kind of know the title track off that album. Hell Awaits itself. When you hear it, it's got this like real demonic intro, and it just kind of sets the tone for what you're about to hear on this album. And I've heard it referred to as almost like the soundtrack to hell, and in essence, that's kind of what it sounds like.
I definitely agree with that. That, like you mentioned, the opening track, it definitely sets the whole tone for that album.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially being that this is a Slayer album, you're going to get an extremely fast-paced album with this band. A lot of really cool stuff on here that, it seems like it's a little underrated, and you have such tracks as At Dawn They Sleep. I love that. That song, it's a little bit longer for Slayer, too. It's about 6.5 minutes, but it's just really thrashy and intense. What other tracks off this album stand out with you?
The last track on the album, Hardening the Arteries, that little drum solo. Is that the one that had that drum solo in it? It almost sounds like it's going back to Hell Awaits.
Yes, it kind of like loops back to the title track for Hell Awaits. How about Crypts of Eternity?
Well, that's a good one too.
You gotta love that. And that's what's really cool about 80s thrash, that it just kind of really holds up and stands the test of time, because you had so much really good stuff, especially in 85, that came out that year. Look, you had Creator doing Endless Pain. You had Celtic Frost with To Megatherion, SOD Speak English or Die, Exodus, Bonded by Blood, and you have Hell Awaits by Slayer. And really, it's not enough that you can really say about this album. If you've never heard it, hey, take 37 minutes of your life and sit down and listen to it, because it's just really just thrashy all the way around. It's everything that you would expect from Slayer, and that's what's great, because you can't really go wrong with any 80s Slayer album. You know what I mean?
And going back to that first track, Hell Awaits, he sings so fast in that song. I actually had to go, after I listened to the album, I had to go back and look the lyrics up, because he's talking so fast. I had trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
There's other songs on there where you can actually make out what he's saying, but that first track, man, he talks so fast.
Yeah, Tom Araya is just really singing extremely fast on this, and I agree with you on that. I mean, just, you hear the intro on that album for about a minute and a half, and then the song slowly builds up. You hear Dave Lombardo's drums kicking in, and just, you get the guitar work coming in from Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King, and then it just magnifies and just gets so much faster, and it's great. You really can't go wrong with this. You have another one off that album, Praise of Death. Really thrashy, fast, heavy song. Kill Again. With 80s Slayer, and they have a great progression here, because look, you start off, you hear Show No Mercy, and then it just moves on from Show No Mercy to Haunting the Chapel, Hell Awaits, and then you get into some real classic stuff, because this album that followed after that was Raining Blood, which, hey, every Slayer fan knows that album. And then you got South of Heaven. You really can't go wrong with almost any 80s Slayer that you get into.
Yeah, well, I really like that. I think it's the third track, They Sleep at Dawn.
At Dawn They Sleep. Yeah.
It's just I'm a big horror fan, and that song's pretty much about vampires.
Yeah, and that's what's great about it. So you get the horror aspect.
That's like one of the songs that really appealed to me, because like you just said, the horror aspect of it.
And I love Dave Lombardo's drum work there. When you hear that double bass
Yo.
kicking in, and then it just stops, and then they just continue playing. I love that. So much great work in there with that. So I mean, this was so legendary back in its time. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, and it's awesome because it holds up today. It was one of the first Slayer albums that I actually owned, and actually I listened to that album while I was getting my first tattoo. So it does have a little special place in my heart as well. You have anything to add about Hell Awaits?
It's just a great Slayer album.
For sure. And I loved watching it when they would play that song live.
Yeah.
Every time they, Slayer would play that live, you'd always see like the flames going on behind the drum risers and everything like that. So it was something that surely got you pumped up. So I'm Joey.
I'm Jason.
And this is Metal
Monster
Review.